welcome to Red-Headed Justice. I'm here again to talk about disability discrimination. Okay, let's talk about employment guidelines for people with disabilities. Let's go federal. Okay, go to the ada.gov to get information on federal laws that are already in place. A lot of people tend to think that we have to create all these laws. You don't have to create the laws. The laws are already in place. I'm talking federal. Okay, you can go to the ada.gov to get information on federal laws already in place. What does that stand for? That stands for the American Disabilities Act. You can also go to eeoc.gov to get information on the enforcement of federal laws against discrimination toward applications of employees with a disability and applicants. That stands for Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. Okay, so that's the EEOC, eeoc.gov. Now you can also go to ndrn.org. What is that? That is the National Disability Rights Network. That is a legal advocacy service. It guards against abuse and advocates for rights and ensures accountability for employment of people with disabilities. They are part of the federally mandated protection and advocacy systems and the client assistance program. Actually, their number is 202-408-9514. That's the ndrn.org. Really shouldn't have to get to that point to where you're needing to access this organization, but the information is there. It's good to know that it is a federal legal advocacy firm. Okay. So let's go back to school. Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. This is the primary federal discrimination statute. It covers race, color, sex, religion, and national origin. Okay, this statute is administered by the EEOC and applies to companies of over 15 employees. Later, pregnancy and age discrimination were added. But it was not until 1990 that the American with Disabilities Act was passed. And then in 2008, 12 years ago, the ADA amendments were passed, increasing the types and scope of disabilities covered. Now, that is actually very important. When people think of disabilities, a lot of times, it's somebody in a wheelchair, somebody who can't see. It's, oh my gosh, no, it covers quite a few mental disabilities as well. People with bipolar, people with autism, people in chronic pain, people who have anxiety disorders. Also lengthens the scope of people who have physical disabilities as well. Okay, so according to the ADA, a disability is, I quote, a physical or mental impairment that substantially limits one or more major life activities. There are laws in place to prevent disability discrimination, both federal and state laws. However, it still occurs, and it's 2020. I have listed some federal laws and resources for those who have disabilities, who are seeking employment or who have experienced employment discrimination. Now, what about employers? There are amazing tax incentives for employers with the Work Opportunity Tax Credit Program, WOTC. In 2015, President Obama signed the PATH Act, giving employers even more incentives. They can use Form 8850, send that to the state workforce agency, which can get them qualified to receive those tax benefits. We really need to pass that information along. I think so many companies do not take advantage of that or do not even know it exists. Yes, it is the WOTC, and they can use Form 8850. Go to irs.gov. Okay, so I've been talking federally. What about your state? Each state has their own laws that usually coincide with Title VII, the federal law. Okay? I happen to live in the great state of Texas. Texas has the Texas Workforce Solutions. You can go to texasworkforcecommission.org. If you think you need to file a complaint, you have 180 days to do this. Chapter 21 of the Texas Labor Code shares much of the same legal language as Title VII, the PDA, the ADEA, and the ADA. So Chapter 21 of the Texas Labor Code is pretty much on board with the federal law, Title VII. So that's Texas, though. Now, I'm not a lawyer. I don't intend to give legal advice. I'm passing on the information. But if you think you need to contact a lawyer, wow. Google. Okay, in addition, the Texas Workforce Solutions is supposed to provide assistance to those in the Title VII targeted groups. But instead, I really feel like they've become a paper-pushing machine. I don't feel like they're serving those clients, and they produce little to no results. I don't know the reason for this. I don't know if it's gotten too huge. I really feel like the process needs to be streamlined. I am open to any type of suggestions for that. I definitely want to make a video about that in the near future. But the next video, I want to talk about the Texas Health and Human Services Commission and what it offers to fellow Texans. It is very important to know who's on these committees and how people like you and I can help by sharing our concerns and personal experiences with these organizations. I think that would be very important in creating new laws down the future and by creating oversight in many of these committees and accountability and just streamlining it, making it do what it was intended to do, serve the people. Okay, so that is what I want to talk about next time is the Texas Health and Human Services Commission. And again, I'm doing this to bring attention to that pink elephant in the room with the disability discrimination in the workforce that continues to occur today here in 2020. Thank you so much for listening.